To the News Center, where we're joined by the retired Rear Admiral Michael Hewitt, also the former U.S. Ambassador Dan Baer for the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe. It's always good to have both of you. Dan, I'll get to you in a moment. I want to start with the Admiral on some of the military back and forth, play a longer clip first on the President's assessment of things today. Here is the exchange with the reporter in the Oval Office about what might happen next. Listen.
We're going to be attacking them and attacking them very hard.
You're resuming bombing?
Yeah, well, we are. Based on the helicopter, I guess we have the right to do that. We'll see what happens. But we hit them hard yesterday, and we're going to hit them again hard today, in case you miss it, in case you don't turn on your television set. And we'll see what happens with the deal. We were really close to a deal, but they keep tapping us along. They keep playing us for suckers.
What about that, Admiral? They keep playing us for suckers, says the President.
Yeah, this was inevitable, frankly, after the last 60 days of a ceasefire with multiple attempts at negotiation. And I think it's important to realize the negotiation is still predominantly around the Iranian nuclear ambition. While Midnight Hammer took out their capacity, Epic Fury was really designed to get the Iranians to capitulate on their nuclear weapons ambition. I am very skeptical that we will see a deal in the near term. And so I imagine we're going to see more than just a proportional response to the Apache attack. We're going to see something akin to restarting Epic Fury along with the continuation of economic fury.
Is that, to you, Ambassador Baer, feel like where we're headed?
Yeah, I think I'm a little bit surprised because I think both parties have an incentive to reach a deal, but I agree with the Rear Admiral that what it looks like now, it's hard to see an end. It almost feels like President Trump is trying to shuffle the deck and re-deal because he didn't get to where he wanted to on this last round. I think he's going to struggle, though, because fundamentally he's in a position where the United States is strategically worse off than when he started this round of fighting. And it's hard to see his way to a deal that is better than the one he tore up or better than the one that he himself might have achieved through diplomacy before this fighting started earlier this year.
You know, a lot's been said, a lot's been written about how we got to this point or why we got to this point. This piece in the Wall Street Journal about the great powers of the world learning that they have limits introduces some more to that conversation, despite spending a significant part of its long-range munitions and killing a large part of the Iranian leadership. The U.S. military just has not been able to secure a strategic victory over a middle power such as Iran. And Tehran continues with the blockade, and its theocratic system is still in solid control and maintains the ability to lob missiles at Israel in the Gulf and the Gulf states. What about that, Admiral, about whether we maybe didn't know what we were getting into here? Do you buy that?
Well, what I believe that the article says, and I agree with, is that we are in a great power competition between the United States and China. And the chessboard with Iran, with Ukraine and Russia, with Venezuela, it's a complicated situation. And I do agree that while we have this great power competition, it will be the middle nations and the weaker nations that decide who the victor is. And what you have right now is a fight between authoritarianism in the 21st century led by China with its alliance with Russia, North Korea, and Iran versus Western democracies. And the real question is, who's going to win on that front? Now, I caveat that by saying the Iran nuclear program was really the goal of this campaign. And the capacity for Iran to have a nuclear weapon has been destroyed. What we're focusing on now is their ambitions to have a weapon. And I do believe, I would say that what Trump has done well prior to this conflict was setting the stage for an alliance in the Middle East through the Abraham Accords and other agreements with the GCC that were economic in nature. Right. So again, the great power competition is about economics more than military conflict.
Understood. I guess, Dan, what I was getting at with not knowing what we were getting into with one of these mid-level powers is whether we were prepared for how Iran would handle this competition with a great power like the United States.
The United States continues to have great military power, and there's been enormous tactical successes in the last year, not only in Iran, of course, but sometimes that power gets spent down when you use it. I mean, certainly our Gulf allies and partners are realizing right now that throwing down completely with the United States has cost for them because they are bearing the brunt of Iran's retaliation. And so I think you're right that the article highlighting the fact that large powers have found that asymmetric warfare has posed unusual challenges to them. Russia has learned that lesson in Ukraine. The US has now learned it in Iran. Perhaps the silver lining here, agreeing with the Admiral, is that China must be thinking about Taiwan and thinking, wait a minute, should we be learning the lessons that Russia and the US have learned in these conflicts? And maybe Taiwan wouldn't be quite as easy as we think it might be. They must be having doubts. But yes, this is a moment where the asymmetries are proving to be powerful. The United States is spending millions of dollars on Patriots to shoot down $20,000 drones. That's not a sustainable plan of attack.
Yet here we are, 100+ days in. We really appreciate both of your perspectives, Ambassador Baer, Admiral Hewitt. Thank you. There's a call for calm in Northern Ireland. All right.